We're back with Melanie Franklin, Chief Executive of Maven Training. I'd like to ask you, Melanie, what you consider makes a good training company?
It's a wide-ranging question, but I think for me, I'm looking, if I hire in somebody to train me in something, I want three things from them. I first of all want that they have really good knowledge of the subject that I'm hiring them in to train me on. I'm looking for an expert to explain a concept to me. I'm looking for an expert to explain particular technical steps to me or a framework. I want to know that they really know it. I want to know that they're qualified in their subject. And I'd like to know that not only are they qualified in quite a narrow subject perhaps, but they're well read around that whole environment. So that for me is very important. But it's only one side of the story. I'm sure we've all been to dreadful training courses where people have stood up and almost read out from a book, or they've read every single word on a slide behind them, and you think, oh, I'm going to sleep. So what I do want to see is personality. I want to know that I could listen to this person, that if I was trapped in a lift with them for more than an hour, I could still cope. And that's very important. But none of that matters if they have never experienced what they're talking about. Real world application. This world is not run on books and theories and methods. It's about how we use what we're being taught. And I want people to bring it to life for me. I want to know that they can relate their own project experiences. I want them to explain to me how the book says you should do this, but can I just warn you from various projects I've been involved in, that if you do that, the sponsor's going to be unhappy with this, or that you're going to find that the stakeholders are going to want something else as well. And I think for me, when I'm hiring trainers, I've had to make sure that in the past, perhaps I haven't hired as many as I'd like, because I'm looking for past experiences. I'm looking for people who've been there, done it, and they've had good experiences and bad ones. Because you learn so much more sometimes from when a project goes horribly wrong than from when it goes very, very well. And I think it's bringing those three together so that people give very much a great sort of empathy in the classroom, and that's the value of classroom-based training. If I wanted to read a book, I could read a book. If I wanted to do e-learning and basically get a screen full of concepts each time before I press the return key, I could do that. So if I'm going to sit in a classroom with somebody, I want to know that they're going to add some value, and it's their experiences and their ability to discuss concepts with me and look at the pros and cons of something in a very practical way that makes it worthwhile being with them.
So how do you assess in advance those three criteria that you've mentioned there?
Well, I have a very open door policy when it comes to looking for new trainers. So I'm interviewing on a constant basis. And it is about experience first. It's always asking them, well, what roles have you played in projects? Were you a project manager? Were you a team specialist of some kind? Have you run a project office? Were you a program manager? Have you worked in a program environment? Tell me about those projects, tell me about those programs, explain to me what went well, what went not so well, what you did about it. If I start that conversation, then I can certainly see personality, because if I'm buying into it and I'm enjoying the conversation with them, that's helpful. And then I'm very keen to ensure that our trainers are not only qualified in, let's say they're training Prince 2, that they're qualified in other related qualifications. So I find that I look for trainers who perhaps have Prince 2 accredited training credentials, those for managing successful programs, for the change management qualifications, the management of risk, the PMP qualification from Project Management Institute. So I'm looking for well-rounded, well-read, as well as those who've been there and seen it.